In our panel to help break this down for us, constitutional law attorney and senior fellow at the King's College, Mark Smith. He also served on the Trump campaign's 2016 transition team, and Global Situation Room CEO and former director of Press Advance for President Barack Obama, Johanna Maska. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
Mark, with your legal background, what are your thoughts on New York City expected to join Colorado and Connecticut in eliminating qualified immunity?
Well, look, I've been a lawyer in New York for 2 decades, and I experienced the rejuvenation of that city because of the policies of Mayor Rudy Giuliani and then Mayor Michael Bloomberg. And the critical factor in that change was the proactive nature and the success of the New York Police Department, the NYPD, in helping transform that city into a world capital. And what this qualified immunity law is really saying is we want police officers to be easier to be sued. And that makes it harder for the police to do the job that they've done over the last few decades. And it's sending a message not only to the criminals that the police will no longer be proactive in stopping you from committing crimes before the crime is committed, but we're also sending a message to plaintiffs' lawyers that police are now ripe for the picking in terms of being sued and collecting money in terms of financial judgments from them.
Johanna, do you worry getting rid of qualified immunity risks preventing the best young men and women from joining the police force?
Look, Mike, I'm a big believer in law and order, but also in holding power accountable. And I think, qualified immunity has actually given government officials a lot of immunity from not being held accountable and not being held responsible. And I think especially when we're looking at even what Governor Cuomo has been accused of, we need to use every measure we can to hold power accountable. So, I am glad to see us reevaluating qualified immunity, but I wish we'd go a little further to explore qualified immunity for all government officials.
Interesting. Okay, to the filibuster in the United States Senate. President Biden, during his 36 years in the U.S. Senate, certainly was a fan of the filibuster. Take a listen.
At its core, the filibuster is not about stopping a nominee or a bill. It's about compromise and moderation. That's why the founders put unlimited debate in.
Mark, does support of the filibuster depend on where you sit?
Mike, think about this. I want to go back to ancient times of 2020. President Donald Trump was able to effectuate major national change with 2 stimulus packages on a bipartisan basis. And now all of a sudden, the Democrats rule Washington with one-party rule with a very, very narrow majority. And now they're talking about taking off the brakes. I think really what we're looking at here, Mike, is they realize that their agenda is very unpopular, and they know that with the filibuster, it will never be enacted.
Johanna, isn't the purpose of the filibuster to really force both parties to sit down and try to cut a deal?
I'd love to see bipartisan cooperation on so many issues. And I think the one thing that President Trump and President Obama could probably agree with is all too often they were waiting for congressional action and they needed to move forward with executive orders to get things done. And that's not a good way to govern. So, I think we've got to look at the resistance of the Republicans or Democrats does nothing for the American people. We need action. And so if that means that we have to get rid of a filibuster because it was used too many times, it was used too many times in that recent history that Mark is just talking about, 300 times as Fox News reported. And so we've got to look at Congress getting things done. I don't want them to have any more excuses. So if this needs to be something to give Congress the ability to act, then we need to get the Senate acting for the American people.
Johanna, Mark, we have to leave it there. Enjoy your Sunday. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.